Hi, this is Kat with Beadaholique, and in this video I'm going to show you how to use the Artistic 3D Bracelet Jig. Now this jig is from Artistic Wire, and you can actually move the pins around wherever you want to create custom wire bangles and bracelets, and just a couple examples here of what we're going to be doing today. These are really fun, and this is actually using an 18 gauge wire, so you can see that it's fairly stiff. And in a lot of designs I've seen people add their own wire wrapping to kind of stiffen it up as well. So that's what we're going to be doing in this video today. So when you purchase your Artistic Wire 3D jig, you'll get the jig itself, you'll get the pegs, and you'll get these plastic little tubes that will help secure it in place once you've placed it onto the jig. So you'll get those 3 items, and you'll also get just a little visual pamphlet to help you if you need some more instruction. So for this project, I'm going to be using 18 gauge Artistic Wire. I have my wire straightening pliers here, my flush cutters, I have a wire rounder tool, and a pair of chain nose pliers, and of course, my ruler. Okay, so like I said, we're going to go ahead and get started with about 22 inches of wire. So just go ahead and unwind it from your spool. And it's pretty kinked on my end, so I'm just going to straighten that out. All right. Just get my ruler here and make sure that I have about 22 inches. So I need a little bit more. Okay, so there's my 22 inches. I'm just going to straighten it out one more time. Make sure not to straighten your wire too much. You don't want to kind of work harden it because you're going to be using it to wrap. All right, so there we have it. Just cut it, and now I can set my spool of wire and my cutters aside. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set up my jig so that it's all ready to go. And the great thing about this is you see that there's many different ways that you can add the pegs in. So I'm just going to start by adding one at the very top there and putting the stopper right there so it doesn't pull out. And I'm just going to do a very simple design. So I'm just going to move down and put another peg in there and make sure it's even. There we go. And you can sort of count the pegs. You can do something that's not even if you want to go for a little bit more of an organic feel. And I'm just going to finish this up quickly. And you'll notice as I come to my end here, I don't have an even space, so I'm going to add it right there, and you'll see how I work with that as I get around to it. Okay, so now I have my wire jig all set up and ready to go. The pins are secure. So what I'm going to start to do now is I'm just going to take my piece of wire and I'm going to find that spot where this will be the start and the end. So I'm going to leave about a 3 to 4 inch tail or so. And now all I'm going to do is you can wrap over or you can wrap under. It's just a matter of design. I'm going to wrap under. Take my wire. First one's the trickiest. There we go. And now just take your wire, and it's easiest if you just move the jig and you just keep your wire wrapping nice and tight, and you want to keep it nice and flush with the jig and keep good tension. And you're just going to wrap all the way around the jig. Making sure to press down onto the jig. And I'm going to come back to my starting point there. And now I just have my wires kind of crossed over right there. And I'm just going to hold that together while I finish up here. Now, just place your thumb there so you can keep those sturdy. Take your chain nose pliers, and what you're going to do is you're just going to go all the way around the jig and just press that wire down just to make sure that it is nice and flush. And this will help sort of make that shape on your bracelet. You don't need to push too hard, just a little security. All right, and my last two here. There we go. Now, I'm going to start to take it off of the jig, leaving these two on. Go ahead and just start pulling off the plastic pieces. And then you can just start to wiggle these guys off. You can also push them from the inside. Okay, so now I've taken off all but my last two here. So carefully take these two off, and it'll spring out, and that's okay because we're going to tighten it up. So now what you're going to do, go ahead and set that down. Place one pin into the jig, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this over and place one loop on there and bring my second loop on top there. You see? See how that's all set up there? I'm just gonna take that, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this end here and complete that loop and just bring it up and then through my bangle. So let me just sort of show you. So it just comes up and through to secure, and this one is going to go down, but I'm going to go ahead and take it off the jig, and it's going to go down and around. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to keep those two loops lined up, and I'm just going to wire wrap this end around just a couple of times just to secure it. Go. And I just want to make that a little tighter and bring those together. Now I'm just going to finish this side and wire wrap. Actually, it's a little long, so I'm going to make it easier on myself. There we go. And just wire wrap that side. There we go. So now I'm going to take my flush cutters and cut off my two ends. And to make sure it's not going to cut me, I'm just going to take my wire ender tool and just take care of those little ends real quick. Get rid of all those little burrs. And now just take your pliers and you're just going to tuck those little wires in. And tuck this side in as well. There we go. So there you have how to make a wire bangle using the artistic jig. You can make this bigger and smaller. What you would just do is you would just place your pegs at a different height and style. But I just want to show you my examples one more time. So I had this example where you wrap it over, and then you can also wrap it underneath and kind of make a little style like that. And you can also make an open bracelet if you wanted to. And this is using the 18 gauge wire. You can use, I would say, up to about 20, but it is going to be a little bit more flimsy. But if you also wanted to, you could get away with using a 16 gauge, which would make it a little bit stronger for yourself. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed how to learn to use the Artistic Wire 3D Bracelet Jig. You can find all of these supplies and more at Beadaholique.com.